Two guys either side of 50 with one dream to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Andy Walker, welcome back. Pilgrims, welcome back. I'm Steve Hinks. Welcome back to the Missing Links Golf Show, episode 30.
Yes.
Andy Walker.
Yes, episode 30.
30.
Big 3-0.
Wow.
Another decade.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. It is.
30. That would imply.
But it's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had fun.
Yeah. Of course you have. Get to chat to me every week.
Look, yeah, I mean, look, it's not as good as shooting 2 under.
Oh, here we go. How many weeks are we going to hear conversations about shooting 2 under par?
How long are we doing this podcast for?
Far out. I reckon this could go on for a little while. That is cold. But 30 episodes, I feel like 30 episodes is a bit of an achievement. I mean, I know 25 episodes potentially you could argue was an achievement. 50 will be an achievement. That will be the Raise the Bat episode.
Yes. It's half a century.
Yep. And Pilgrims from non-cricket playing nations. My reference there is the tradition as a batsman when you reach a score of 50 or 100. That you raise the bat, acknowledge the applause from the crowd. So we will certainly be doing that on the 50th episode. We'll be I'll bring cricket bat along onto that episode, I think, and we'll just sit there with it raised. Could get a bit tiring an hour in.
Good day. Yeah.
See how we go.
Yeah.
See how we go.
Look, it'll be good.
30 episodes, Andy Walker. Any highlights for you? Putting you on the spot now.
Yeah, you know, my favourite episode was a couple of weeks ago when I shot 2 under.
Come on.
You walked into that. You absolutely walked into that and just like, let me have the opportunity.
I can't even. I dead set can't even. That's so good. Not even rehearsed, Pilgrims. Not even rehearsed.
No. I love the interviews. I have to admit, you know, what we've learned through, you know, Michael Leonard, John Weir, Josh Nichols, Neil Smith, David McCollum, Scotty Fisher, you know, all the guys that we've interviewed, and we've over the next few weeks we're going to be interviewing some pretty decent guests. So we might give a little bit of a sneaky heads up at the end of this episode, but we're certainly not saying anything yet. Yeah.
We might not as well. So if you get to the end of the episode and we don't tell you, then
oops.
Yeah.
But look, I really enjoy talking to people who, you know, at this point in time know more than us, and well, it's not probably always know more than us, but let's face it. But just learning about the game, learning about the modern game. I mean, you know, as we've covered a number of times, I played in an era which is very different to where we are now. You know, a lot more stats driven, a lot more mental game driven, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the change in approach. I actually find that it is suiting my analytical side a lot better, and I'm finding that. Just and I know it started with the John Sherman 4 Foundations of Golf, just that, you know, that course management and course strategy, I find, and the more we delve into it, the smarter it is. And I wish I knew the stuff.
Oh, I know.
30 years ago. I mean, I would have been such a better golfer than what I was. And and also the mental side of it. Obviously, we've now spoken to a number of guests on the mental game, and have really enjoyed that journey as well. And just looking at it from a number of different perspectives and grabbing things that suit me, and you know, being able to grab those strategies and put them into my game. I found that really helpful. So, what about yourself? Missed
Oh,
Hinks?
so many parts. Like what I was thinking about this earlier today, and I really, really like the fact that we have called the show the Missing Links Golf Show, because what I genuinely feel has been happening, particularly as you talk about the guests that we've had on the show, is identifying the missing links to better golf.
Yeah.
That may sound like some kind of a trite self promo, but it it's absolutely true, and it's become more true, I think, than I expected it to be when we started the process. I certainly wouldn't have expected this far in or this early in the process that we would have had so many amazing people sort of just generously give their time to come and talk to us and share their expertise. And it has been amazing. Like, honestly, each of them has been different. Each of them I've absolutely taken something away from, many things from. I feel like we've actually also made a couple of really good friends out of the process. Obviously, a couple of guests were friends to start with, but there's others that we really did not know at all, but reached out online and they agreed. And I feel like we've actually made some really, really cool connections out of that, like-minded people that are interested in playing better golf, learning more about golf, and helping other people play better golf, which is kind of part of what we want to do too. Not that we're so much helping people play other golf, but hopefully we're inspiring them to learn a few things out of our experiences, which, who knows? It's cool. I do think, if you've been listening to this show for the previous 29 episodes, then you would hopefully have learnt something along the way that might have helped you golf. So there's that. But I'd also say one of my favourite parts of every episode is the voice of the pilgrims. I love getting
Pilgrims.
some feedback from all you pilgrims out there. So if you're listening and you haven't got in touch with us, please do drop us a line. You can do it in a number of ways. Direct email, the Missing Links Golf Show at gmail.com. Nearly forgot it there for a moment. You can also reach out to us via Facebook, the Missing Links Golf Show on Facebook, Missing Links Golf on Insta, or TML Golf Show on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Or there's the little fan mail button, send us a text message button on the
Nice.
the podcast now, that just above the show notes, that you could even click on there. So there's plenty of ways. Love to hear from you. Some of my favourites, there's probably two that stand out over the episodes so far before we get into tonight's Voice of the Pilgrims. But a couple that stand out, massive, massive fan of the epic sledging from Ted from Mollymook, and particularly his reference to, I can't remember the exact quote, but, if you don't do this, if you don't write down your goals, then you are pussyfooting around.
Yes.
That has definitely become part of the vernacular of this show. In fact, I feel like it's going to end up on a T-shirt at some point in the merch store.
Yep.
No pussyfooting around. It's gold. That one. And also, I was a massive fan of, I think from memory, it was Leroy from Las Vegas, who described this show as a very, very public midlife crisis that inspired the name of that episode. So we didn't disagree. I think we agreed. We pretty much agreed with the Pilgrims at every step of the way. So that to me, I'm a mad fan of that. So yeah, there you go. It's been a lot of fun, as you say.
Nice. Well, speaking of pilgrims, I do believe that we have a bit of
A few voices to hear.
a few voices of the pilgrims. So,
We do.
yeah, let's hear from the pilgrims.
Yeah, we do. Once again, the Pilgrims haven't missed. It's fair to say. So, and I like how you say speaking of the Pilgrims, because Pilgrims, Andy and I are constantly speaking of the Pilgrims. You mean more to us than a lot of other things. Finish the sentence how you want to. Anyway, the first voice of the Pilgrim comes from a very, very good friend of the show, Paul from Sydney. Some may remember him as the dashingly handsome PE teacher. So Paul from Sydney says, loved the ball striking versus short game chat. I could smell a touch of stubbornness in the air on both sides.
Really? That doesn't sound like us, does it?
No. Paul, here's the thing, okay? it's important in this life not to be a fence sitter and to take sides and to have a point of view, have an opinion. Don't be scared to have an opinion, Paul. It's important. The other thing, you don't always have to agree all the time. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's totally fine.
So what about when you take the side of the argument that you don't necessarily agree with,
just for the sake of the argument,
but you still argue for it anyway?
It's good content. Or is it?
Do you feel you've ever gone there?
No, I wouldn't do that. Sometimes I like to explore the other side of an argument just for the purposes of an intellectual exercise, because if you just always agree with yourself and search out the same information all the time, then you're living a boring life. So sometimes it's a worthwhile exercise to try and argue the other point. It can be difficult. Nevertheless, I think...
So it's what they say about social media, isn't it? That it's the ultimate confirmation bias.
It's an echo chamber. That's exactly right. Unless you get onto our channels, which are not echo chambers, because we have both sides of the argument.
Exactly.
So thanks for that, Paul from Sydney. The next one, this is a good one, actually. This is about our last episode, which was our bonus episode, Andy Walker, the first bonus episode. So really, nice. This is not really the 30th episode. This is really the 29th plus a bonus, which makes it 30. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the bonus episode, the last one that we released, was our version of the awesome chat with Josh Nichols. Yes. Which we were guests on his show originally a couple of weeks ago now. And we re-released that just with our own interpretation at the beginning and the end. And Pete, I don't know if Pete listened to this on our channel or Josh's. It's hard to know. But Pete from New York, Andy Walker, says, awesome chat with Josh. There's not enough honest conversations between guys like that one. Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah. And I think we talked about that last week, and I use the word vulnerable. And a lot of people see vulnerable as weakness, whereas, especially when it comes to emotion, being vulnerable does take a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage to be able to be vulnerable with your mates. I mean, masculinity a lot of the time isn't seen as being vulnerable, yet it is.
It should be.
It's a huge part of your emotional well-being.
Absolutely. We're all going through the same stuff. At the end of the day, and talking about it helps. And I think, definitely in Australia, I'm sure this is the case in other countries as well. Probably the US is not too different, and Great Britain's probably not too different.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably in every country, in all of the now, I think 19 countries that the Pilgrims stem from.
19, wow.
Yeah, crazy. I would say there's similar things. That's probably why they're listening to the show.
Yeah, so, I agree. And I do feel very fortunate that throughout my life I've found a number of mates that I can be vulnerable with, and I can have those conversations, and you can have hard conversations. And when you're going through tough times, you're able to talk through it in an honest and vulnerable way. And I feel very grateful to be able to have those mates.
Likewise, Andy Walker, likewise. I'm going to revise my answer to your earlier question, favourite part of the show.
Yep.
Because we started this as a golf show.
We did.
Which it is, unashamedly so. But it's also a bit of a dudes helping dudes through life kind of a show.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's unexpected. Sort of that whole, how do you juggle all the things in your life and try and be as intentional and as present and as good as you can for all of those various elements which are important. Something in that.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
The other point that I would like to make from Pete's feedback is this. So appreciate the feedback, Pete. Thank you. And the fact that it's Pete from New York, Andy Walker, I feel as though we finally made it there.
Of course, we've had one pilgrim from New York.
There's quite a few actually.
Reach out to us.
There's quite a few that I've noticed are popping up from New York, but I'm certainly getting a nice piece of feedback from New York, and yeah, I do feel like we've made it there, and I feel like that's a fair indicator, Andy Walker, that we could in fact make it anywhere.
Yes, it's a big town, and never been there. Would love to go there, but
the Big Apple. Well, actually, I don't know if Pete's from New York City or if he's from New York State. That's a fair point. There's a difference between the two.
Yeah. I guess when you hear New York, you always think of the city, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, understand there is a New York State. When people talk about New York, it's always the New York City. So yeah, interesting.
We don't know. Let us know, Pete. Where are you from? What's your nearest course? What's it like? Are there any courses on Manhattan Island? I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think so.
Geez, it'd be some expensive real estate if there were.
So what are the courses near New York? Is Shinnecock Hills near New York?
Oh, I really don't know. Pilgrims, help us out. Andy Walker's reaching for the phone. He's going to do some live Googling here during the podcast, which can only mean one thing. That is that I'm going to need to fill a little bit of extra time as he's Googling New York golf courses. Any famous golfers that come from the New York area? Anyone that you could name? Jordan Spieth's not from New York. He's more from Texas. Feel like I'm on my own here, Pilgrims.
Yeah, I've just...
this is some champagne podcasting right here.
There is some champagne podcasting. Yeah. Let me just have a look.
What do you got, Andy Walker?
No, there's
no golf courses on Manhattan Island? There's Central Park.
The Manhattan Golf Association.
Doesn't mean it's a golf course, though.
No. It looks as though it's more 5-iron golf.
5-iron golf? You're only allowed to play with one club?
Apparently.
There's probably a few of your simulator type golf bars.
That's what it looks like. It looks like there's a number of simulator type.
Maybe we should go there and have a look, Andy Walker.
Well, I mean, it'd be a research trip for the podcast, surely.
You'd think so. I feel like we need to move on from golf courses in New York. We could be here all night doing a geographical study of the United States. But the message is this, Pilgrims, is get in touch. Let us know what you think. If you've got questions, let us know. If you've got feedback, let us know. No pussyfooting around. Get straight to the point. We'd love to hear it. So that's the voice of the Pilgrims this week. Andy Walker, it's been another wet week, unfortunately, in downtown Australia.
It has been, although it is clearing a little bit.
It is, but it didn't clear in time for competitive golf to be played on Saturday, unfortunately.
No. And my home course was closed until yesterday.
Ooh.
And today was a pretty busy work day, so I didn't manage to get out there today. I mean, Tuesday is my normal comp day, and we are, without sort of dating the podcast, it is a Tuesday that we're recording. So yeah, didn't manage to get out today, but hopefully, well, I don't even know if next week is going to be. I'm probably going to do a bit of practice next week, but I don't know if I'll be able to get out. Week after that, though, bit of golf on.
Which so we will get to that, because that's an important topic that we need to talk about. I do have a round of golf coming up this coming Saturday.
Nice.
I will be playing a competitive round, not tournament, just club comp. Thoroughly looking forward to that, because it will at that point be 3 weeks between competition rounds due to 2 weeks of washouts. So
right.
It'll be good to get back out there. It'll be good to post a round in May, because at the moment we're sorely lacking in that department, because all of our last rounds were in April. So in terms of the yearly championship, we need to get some rounds in May, and I need to win, just quietly. So I need to win, and I need to win handsomely, because otherwise it's getting away. So that is the plan. But practice-wise, I've had a couple of I don't know if you call them breakthroughs, but certainly some moments, Andy Walker.
Okay. As in the high performance center or out on the course?
No, high performance center. I haven't been able to get out on the course because of the weather and various other issues. Now, I sent you earlier in the week, as in probably yesterday or the day before, a couple of photos of comparisons of my impact position and finish position from now versus early February.
Yep.
And that has been showing the progress made based on some of the suggestions made by a friend of the show, Scotty Fisher.
Yes. And I have to say those photos, the old photos I thought were from probably 12 months or more ago. I didn't realize the dramatic change that you've actually made over the last few months.
Nor did I.
It's pretty impressive, to be honest with you.
It surprised me actually, because and Pilgrims, I will put the photos on the Facebook page so that you can have a bit of a look as well. The side-by-side comparisons. One's at impact and one's the finish position. And the point around it is about weight transference of getting to the front side. And what that does is enables you, particularly, this is really about irons, of covering the ball, getting some compression and getting more consistent contact, and actually getting the weight transference through the ball, which will undoubtedly as well give not just consistency of strike, but better distance.
Yep.
So, and the funny thing is, it's not that outcome that I've been working on from Scotty's feedback. It was more around getting the takeaway right to get the club back on plane, but then starting the downswing with the lower body rather than with the arms and the upper body to try and get the sequencing right. And it really has led to a difference. Like where my center of gravity moves at impact now is over the front foot, covering, like sternum covering the golf ball, rather than still being somewhat behind it. And it looked a bit, I mean, sometimes those photos, because they're stills of video, so they can be a little bit misleading with the way things move. But the finish position, because what Scotty initially picked up was that rock back onto the back foot, which he was saying was an indicator of not getting the full turn through the ball, which was an indicator of being a bit across the plane at the top and starting the downswing over the top with the hands rather than starting with the hips, etc. So working on those things, geez, it's made a difference. But the other thing is, more importantly, I've really noticed the ball striking difference both in the high performance center but also on the course.
Yep.
So that's more important.
And flight of the ball. You would have
for sure
seen a fair bit of difference in the flight of your ball, because and I saw your impact position, and when you get into that impact position, you're going to be able to flight the ball significantly better. And when you get into more challenging weather, that's where, if, most golfers really struggle when it comes to wind or, whether it be rain or whatever, if you're getting into that impact position more consistently, you're going to get a better flight, which means you're going to have better control over your golf shots.
Yep, absolutely. So that was exciting, because that was, I kind of just thought I'd have a look at that for fun and see where things were. And I was amazed at the difference. So, Scotty, thanks for your help. Much appreciated. Things are moving in the right direction. Hopefully we'll see the scores continue to move in the right direction as a result. So that was a big win. That was a really big win. Not finished yet though, because there's a few things now sort of still working on just getting the wrist hinge in the right way at the top of the backswing, just to make sure that it's keeping the club on plane and not getting across the line at the top, which is a little bit of a tendency that I have historically had. And the other thing that I've noticed, Andy Walker, interested in your thoughts on this, is at impact actually really focusing on striking out at the ball, just as a swing thought, rather than, and maybe that's because I'm trying to combat the not coming over the top at the start of the downswing. So that swing thought of sort of swinging out at the ball rather than straight down the line is maybe helping that swing path a little bit.
Yeah. Look, I can see how that would work. I mean, the things that I'm trying to work on at the moment is trying to, because I've had the early extension for well, pretty much, all my golfing life. The early extension has plagued me. So trying to use my body a lot more rather than my arms, and getting through the ball. And as a result of getting through the ball, that extension automatically happens. Well, I find it automatically happens. So I find that I don't need to try to extend through the ball if I'm getting my body in the right position.
Yeah. Which again, I guess it's one of those examples of different feel thoughts for different players work in different ways.
What I am trying to do though, and this is this is on the backswing rather than the follow through, is I'm trying to get wider through backswing and at the start of my downswing, trying to keep the width rather than sort of collapsing my arms coming down into the ball. So I'm finding again that is, and then again getting my left side, clearing my left side through the ball. I'm finding that automatically creates width on my follow through. So I'm not necessarily intentionally trying to do it, but as a result, sort of what you were talking about previously in that, you're trying to get your backswing and the top of your backswing into the right position, and that's helping your impact position. So similar sort of concept to that is that I'm finding that if I can get the width on my backswing and then at the start of my downswing and then clear my body through the ball, then that automatically will create the width that I need to on the follow through.
Yep, that makes sense. So an analogy on that one that I stumbled across in one of the many, many rabbit warrens of internet instruction, and Tiger Woods would advise me against this, but that's fine. But I actually think this piece of advice is not a bad one, and it's a feel thought. But if you imagine that you are standing in a line of people side by side, and you're passing a heavy medicine ball or a cement bag or whatever along that line, if you were going to be taking it from the person to one side, like your backswing side, you'd really reach across and then you'd really, pass it across your body and be reaching it out a long way in front. And it's that sort of, that depth, that width of backswing and follow through, so that you're not getting chicken wingy on the follow through as well. Just as a swing thought, which is, in fact, I think that may have come from Sean Foley, that was Tiger's coach for a while.
Right.
That piece of information, just sort of that really reaching out. It's like if you're reaching out to get something and then you're reaching out to pass it to the next person.
Yeah.
Sort of that.
Well, the chicken wing works for Jordan Spieth.
Does it though?
Yeah. Well, it has done.
Yeah.
I mean, still, I'd be happy with his golf game.
I would be okay with it. Yep. That would not be a problem. Certainly okay with the amount of money that he's made out of it.
Exactly. Happy with his bank balance.
Okay. Yeah, that would be totally okay. So that's been the main thing. The other thing that I've been tinkering with, and this is putting related.
Yep.
So I have ordered a putting mirror after our conversation with Michael Leonard.
Yeah, nice.
Yet to arrive. But what was interesting is I had the putting mat out, which has been fun, getting into that once again, now that daylight savings is finished. Had the putting mat out, and I felt like hitting putts, and these are about 3 meters, so about, what's that, 9, 10 foot.
Yep.
On some of them, I've almost felt like I was block slicing them. As ridiculous as that sounds. So a few things were going on in my mind as a result of that. One of those being I've got a face balanced putter which is suited to a straight back and through stroke. And I think I've talked about this in a previous episode. I need to get a putter fitting because I'm not convinced it's the right one.
Yep.
And then I was thinking, well, I've got TaylorMade TP5X balls that I was putting with, and I've got some Pro V1s in the garage, but they're the radar capture ones, so they're not ones I'm going to use in games, but they feel the same. So I was playing with the two balls. Interestingly, I actually much preferred putting with the Pro V1 on the mat. So that's a separate issue, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I was then thinking is, I'm like, oh, this mirror thing would be interesting. But then I thought, well, Michael was also saying that you should have your eye line either straight over the ball or to the inside.
Right.
Not outside the ball.
Yes.
And I feel like I was a little bit outside the ball. So head a bit past the ball.
Yeah.
So I tinkered around with having it deliberately inside, a little bit inside, not much, but just a little bit, sort of standing slightly more upright.
How were you measuring that?
Just by feel, like, because I didn't have a mirror. So when the mirror turns up, it'd be interesting to check.
Do you know a good way to check?
Put a DVD down.
No. Grab a golf ball.
Put it on your nose.
Over your eyes and just drop it.
Yeah, okay. Give that a go. Does it have to be a golf ball? Could be something that's not going to be as loud on the floorboard.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a golf ball, but that's how I always how I used to measure where my eyes were. For putting was I used to grab a golf ball, just have it straight over the bridge of my nose, and just drop it, and see where it lands, and that gives you a good indication of whereabouts in relation to the ball that your eyes are.
I will check it. But the point that I was going to make is by making that change, geez, I was putting so much better.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so much straighter. Block slice disappeared. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to talk about block slicing a 10-foot putt, but it wasn't that extreme. It wasn't that extreme. But the thing that spun me out is that, as we've talked about, I putt with the line, and I was still running the line straight up and down. It wasn't scrambling. Yep. But they were pushing left of the hole and turning further.
Yep.
But there wasn't any break on the ground because when I'd actually hit a proper one, it'd still roll straight. So it had to be club face.
Well, one of the things that I struggled with for quite a long time is taking the club back closed, like the putter closed on the backswing, and that just a pull. That's the end result. So you've got to, in order to hit a straight putt, you've obviously got to then manipulate the face back to square. Yeah. But I found that rarely happened. Obviously, I've got the broomstick, which makes it a bit more difficult to try and manipulate the face. But for me, that's one of the keys that I've really had to work on, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm putting so much better than what I was. Well, certainly since the start of this pilgrimage, and I've been able to get out and do a bit of practice with my putter, and being able to take the putter face straight back and straight through, surprisingly, helps you sink more putts.
Who would have thought? It's an interesting one, though, because for me, I really want to get this sorted because, as you know, I fully believe that short game and putting is the key to success with golf improvement.
Well, I mean, look, it's very important.
Should we go there again?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, I'll be seeing David McCollum in a couple of weeks, so I'll have a chat to him about it.
He needs to listen to that episode. He really does. I want to hear his opinion. He's going to love it. But yeah, that's been really interesting. The other thing, just very quickly before, because we're going to move on to some of your tournament prep stories, but the other thing is a renewed vigor, renewed focus on nutrition and health and fitness.
Yeah.
Which has been good. Tonio, that's...
Yeah, I need to take a leaf out of that book, to be honest with you.
It ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows.
There was, I think it was... might have been just before the Macquarie Cup, I think, when we were recording that episode leading up to it. I had actually dropped a few kilos, and I was feeling good. I'd been, working out, and felt pretty good in general. Well, yeah, that's all sort of came undone after the Macquarie Cup. After coming out to the Macquarie Cup and probably overindulging in a few reds and other things. Then Easter. Then my son had a birthday.
Oh, it was school holidays, and it was stacks holidays.
On. We went away over the sort of Anzac Day. Anzac Day was the Thursday. I took the Friday off. That was my trip down to Mollymook. So there was lots of stuff that came up in that month after the Macquarie Cup, and just happened to stack those few kilos back on
straight
that I lost. So
I'm hearing you
of weight.
Yeah, I know.
It's weight transfer, I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess there's only so much mass in the universe, and we just share it around, don't we? So
yeah, exactly.
Oh, look, yeah. I mean, I reckon I kind of probably hit about the heaviest I've ever been around about that time as well, which was kind of what gave me the kick up the pants to do something about it. So I've been pretty happy. I think I've dropped about 3 or 4 kilos in the last couple of weeks. Okay. So
good.
It's been good, going in the right direction. Still got a way to go.
Yep.
To our American listeners, that is, what's that? It's about 8 or 9 pounds.
Yeah. So what's a pound? It's just over
2.2. It's 2.2.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, a kilo is 2.2 pounds.
Yeah, a kilo is 2.2 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been necessary, Andy Walker.
Yes.
I'll give you that much.
I need to start because I haven't lost 2 or 3 kilos in the last few weeks.
You will. You've got it in you. I mean, clearly you've got it in you. You don't want it in you. That's the problem.
At the moment, I've got it in me, yes. That's the problem.
That is the issue. Speaking of having it in you, tournament prep.
Yes.
You've got it in you for a good performance in this upcoming New South Wales Senior Open qualifier.
Qualifying, yeah. Yeah, well, and it's been a bit interrupted with the wet weather. But I am playing in the Camden Seniors on the 27th of May, so a couple of weeks away. Now the issue that I've got, and so I've got 4 events to qualify for the New South Wales Senior Open.
Yeah.
However, the 3 out of the 4 events, either I played the course a very, very long time ago and don't really remember it, or as in one, haven't played it at all. So there is one event, the 36-hole event at Newcastle and Horizons, where I've played them within the last couple of years. So I've got a pretty good memory of what the holes are. But Camden, in a couple of weeks' time, I haven't played Camden for probably 30 odd years. And in that, I've only played it once. So there was an event there, a long time ago that I played in. So I've just been trying to figure out how I'm going to approach it, because I don't want to just rock up blind. I think that's not going to put myself in the best position.
Agree. You don't want to go in blind. Absolutely.
No. And what I have been doing, I've been starting to work my way through the Wicked Smart Golf Academy, which has been really, really helpful. And Michael Leonard talks about, he's got a couple of strategies for tournament prep, and the tactics that you should be employing to get to know a golf course a little bit better. So what I've been doing, I've jumped on Google Earth, because with Google Earth, you can actually measure from point A to point B. So I sent David McCollum actually a text message to say, what tees are we going to be playing off? And he said that we're playing off effectively the members' Saturday tees. That's sort of what the seniors normally play off. So I've been taking measurements and what my strategy should be off the tee, and where I should be hitting it into the fairway, and then how far I'm going to be from the green. Now, the good thing about Camden as well is on their website, they've actually got a flyover of each hole. So they've got drone footage where, you obviously start at the tee and you make your way down to the green. So not only have I got the Google Earth images and the measurements, I'm actually going through and I can see each hole, and I can understand what I'm going to be seeing when I'm on the tee. So it's been gold. Like, it's been really good, and I feel as though
Yep.
that's going to, I mean, look, it's, there's still going to be like the subtleties of, breaks on the green and, those sorts of things I'm not going to be able to get a chance to have a look at before I get there. However, I feel as though I'm going to be in a much better position to be able to perform reasonably well with this sort of preparation. So the other thing as well is that I'm actually traveling down there with David. So I'll
Nice.
be able to get to have a bit of a chat to him on the way down and just, develop a bit of a plan, talk to him about what I've done and yeah, see if he's got any suggestions. So that's Camden. The challenge is going to be Carnarvon is the second one, which is June. I haven't found much footage with Carnarvon. I found a little bit of footage, but not a lot. And then Glenmore, which is in September. Glenmore, I've never played before, and I can't find any footage of the course on YouTube. Now, I'm not going to get to any of the courses. That's going to be an issue. So I think with Carnarvon and Glenmore, I'm going to be relying a lot on Google Earth rather than on YouTube and footage of the holes. Whereas I feel as though I'm going to be a bit more prepared for Camden rather than the other two. So and Newcastle and Horizons, as I said, I know those courses. I've played there relatively recently, and I'm pretty comfortable just using Google Earth and knowing what to expect.
So I have questions.
Yep.
So the first question is, let's take Camden. Go through the flyovers, you do your Google Earth measurements. In tournament play, are you allowed to take notes in? Like, say if you've written out a plan, we've got your holes, and you go, hole number 1, is 3 wood off or 4 wood, in your case off 100%. Tee.
Well, that's what the pros do. Like, it's, the PGA tours they're allowed to do it. I mean, I just
remember there was one, I can't remember who it was, if it was Will Zalatoris or JT or someone that got pinged for notes in a green reading book or something like that they took into the round that they weren't allowed to.
Yeah, so there was a green reading. So I do remember the PGA Tour, and I don't know the specifics around it, but I do remember that there was, because they were given green reading books historically, for each course, but then they banned them and they stopped using them. So I don't know, perhaps, in that instance.
I can't remember the details of that. Be interesting. Because, I mean, I think jotting the notes down of how you intend to play each of the holes is really good preparation. And then the challenge will be when you get up there and physically eyeball it, do you agree with the notes that you wrote, and how disciplined are you at sticking to the plan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'm pretty disciplined at sticking to a plan. The question,
I feel like we had quite a large conversation about you and planning at some point recently.
Exactly. Yeah. Planning, no problem at all, and sticking to that. Don't have an issue with that. I think that I'm going to have a level of flexibility that if I stand on a tee and what I've got in my strategy notes doesn't fit what I see, then I'm going to have maybe.
You'll have to change. You'll have to change, because you've got to be committed to the shot that you want to play, and there's no point standing up and going, "Ooh, I don't know." My other question that I was going to ask, and this is a bit out there, but is there an option of getting a local member as a caddy?
Maybe. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
And if so, would you want to do that? Because
I'm not sure. It's an option. I'd have to think about that one. I'd have to mull that over a little bit. Haven't really taken that into consideration. So hadn't thought about that one.
Just a bit of an out there idea.
I mean, if I knew a member,
That
it
would
would
help.
probably help.
That would help.
But yeah, potentially. So, but anyway, the starting point I think is developing my own strategy, and then getting up on the course, and at least I'll then have an understanding of measurements and landing zones and how far it is to trouble. And yeah, so for instance, if I'm, I've got, a fairly wide fairway, but there's fairway bunkers down the right hand side on a hole, and it's into the wind, I'll obviously have to be, I'll need more club to be able to get it to the fairway bunkers.
Yeah.
So that will change my strategy a little bit. So I'll be able to take a longer club off the tee. So, those and downwind obviously is the opposite. So those sorts of things I'm going to have to be flexible with. So you can't have it hard and fast. You've got to play the conditions of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least I'll have done a little bit of due diligence.
The other tricky thing in playing courses that you don't know, and that you haven't played before or haven't played often before, is a few things. Like, one is visually knowing your lines off the tee. Because when you know a course well, like that's what you aim at, particularly with dog legs, because that's where you run out distances
blind shots
and blind shots. Yeah, absolutely. But then the other part, which is probably as important, if not more so, is knowing where you can miss and where not to miss.
Yeah.
Particularly coming into greens, like certain greens where, and there's a couple I know at my home course, if you miss on the wrong side, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like you've no chance of getting up and down unless you literally hit the flag stick and it drops. So,
well, I mean, these are the sort of things where I think strategy of mainly hitting into the middle of the green is going to help, which is going to be, unless I've only got, wedge or less into the green, it's unlikely. And even then, if a pin is cut hard on one side, I'm probably not going to go directly for the pin. I'll probably, might go halfway in between the middle of the green and the flag stick, but I won't be going for the pin as such.
No, absolutely.
But apart from that, anything more than a wedge is going to be middle of the green for the vast majority of the time.
I mean, there's a few stories out there that float around, particularly with college teams in the US, that I've heard about, and that you hear about when you're listening on the commentary, and they talk about exercises where the coaches will make them play 9 holes but remove all the flags.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they don't have a flag, so they have nothing to aim at from the fairway. Actually, other than the center of the green.
Interestingly, of course, Michael Leonard was talking about that. He was, and I think it might have been in his academy. He says that he wishes sometimes that there were no flag sticks.
Yeah,
flag sticks were just not there. You just have the green to aim for, because people would have to aim at the
just aim at the green.
And he reckons that the average golfer and the average score would actually become better.
Yeah,
just aiming at the middle of the green.
Yeah, and it's incredibly hard to do, because naturally it's a target, right? Like the flag's a target, so you're always going to go for it, and it impacts your club choice, because front pin, back pin, etc. You're kind of clubbing for that, which you shouldn't do, like just club to the center of the green. But the story was, and it was on one of the recent tournaments, it might have been during the Wells Fargo, one of the commentators, or potentially the Byron Nelson before that, but one of the commentators was talking about it, the college coach from whichever college it was doing that, and his players were shooting on average 2 shots better for 9 holes with no flags.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's good quality players too. Like, that's not hacks by any standards. They're good quality players. But just stopping them, short-siding themselves and going for silly pins and those elements that you wouldn't do because you don't know where the hole is, so you're just shooting at the center of the green.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because and one of the things I've thought about in strategy and how I should approach these courses that I'm not particularly familiar with is I feel as though in recent times I've become quite conservative in my strategy. And I mean, we've talked a lot about that, swing aggressively to conservative targets. And I feel like I've become a lot more conservative, but I feel as though that I should become even more conservative with a course that I don't know, that I'm not familiar with.
Um, so how would I respond to that? If I was going to be channeling, it's probably a combination of people. When you're looking at some of the stuff that we've read from the likes of Four Foundations of Golf with Sherman, and even the Decade System with Scott Fawcett, a lot of the sort of research and a lot of the strokes gain numbers would suggest you be aggressive off the tee, unless I'm not talking about par threes, but like par four and par five. So you're always looking to hit driver unless there's a reason why you shouldn't. And that would be, like a penalty area that you're not going to reach with your fairway wood, but you will reach with your driver that is too dangerous. But all things being equal, always pull driver. And I know you don't do that. So that's
and well, a lot of the reason why I wasn't doing that is because I'd completely lost confidence with the old TaylorMade M3s, and they
times change now.
Yeah, that they were just the wrong clubs. But I have been doing a bit of work in the high performance center with my driver, fairway, and the 3 utility irons. So I feel as though they're getting better, and they feel quite good. So my feeling is I'm going to use those a lot more in my rounds in future, rather than what I have been doing was using the 3 driving iron off the tee in the vast majority of the cases, just because I just didn't know where the TaylorMades were going.
Sure. I still feel you pussyfooting around a little bit, because it's not about using driver or fairway or utility. It's like the theory is you use driver, and unless there is a compelling reason not to. But then,
what about shooting 2 under? Is that a compelling reason?
I mean, when you talk about 18, you're coming up 18, and you pulled your 3 driving iron almost into the water anyway, which could have cost you. So I feel like
did it?
I feel like you got away with it there,
but it didn't, did it?
And then you still had to hit a 7 iron into the green. Whereas if you pulled driver, you're hitting a wedge in.
6 iron actually.
Well, 6 iron, even worse.
Yeah.
Pulled driver, you're hitting a wedge in. Probably would have holed it for eagle or something. So.
Okay, I'll hold on to that. I'll hold on to my 2 under.
Yeah. Anyway, of course you will. You go to sleep with it every night. So
you betcha.
Just quietly, I would too. You'd never hear the end of it.
I dream of that round every night.
Yeah. You never hear the end of it. When I shoot 2 under Pilgrims, we'll be renaming the show. The welcome to the Steve Shot 2 under golf show. Anyway, that's one element of sort of the theory. The other is then it's the opposite with approach shots into the greens. So that's where the conservatism comes in. So aggressive off the tee, conservative at greens. Whereas theory goes, a lot of people, you're not at risk of this, but say there's a lot of golfers out there who are too conservative off the tee, leaving themselves then longer shots to the green than they need to, and aren't necessarily hitting any more fairways anyway, because you're statistically not that more accurate with your fairway wood than you are with your driver.
Yeah, I think it's like 3% or something.
It? But it's a significant distance, and then so 2 or 3 clubs more at the green.
Yeah.
And trying to be too aggressive.
Your effective strokes gained.
It's a loss. It's a significant loss. Yeah. So the idea is, at any given opportunity, you want to get the ball as close to the green as you possibly can, unless there is a compelling reason not to do so, which is, obviously a hazard in those situations. Same can be said for going for par 5s in 2. If you can, you should. And even if you're not going to get there, get it as close to the green as you possibly can, because you're going to be closer to the pin from 40 yards than you are from 80 or 100 or 150.
Well, just in my initial research that I've done on Camden, I do feel as though most of the par 5s I'm going to be able to be having a crack into if I take driver from the tee. So that will be the strategy.
Yeah.
And on a lot of the par 4s, I feel as though they'll be within wedge distance of the greens. So
Yeah.
again, I feel as though I have seen a couple of holes where there's sort of dog legs and fairway bunkers where I might be a bit more conservative, but there's also a lot of holes where, they're within that range where, drive a wedge or less. So I do feel as though there's going to be some opportunities for scoring there.
Mm. So you'll be drive a wedge, Dave McClellan potentially drive a 6-iron.
Oh, if he smokes one.
Hope you're listening, Dave. We love your work.
No, I have to say, because David's never been a long ball striker, but certainly when I sort of started playing again quite regularly, and I don't know what driver he had, but it was quite an aged driver. He did get a Titleist TSR3, and the difference it made to him was
huge,
frightening.
Yeah,
oh, huge.
Yeah,
he went from being maybe 40, 50 yards back to about 35.
Bit of modern technology never hurt anyone.
No, I've got a bit of a smile on my face when I say that. So that was tongue in cheek. No, he probably gained, I reckon, a good sort of 20 to 30 meters on his drive. So
yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah, when I was sort of getting a drive out there, and he would get a drive out there, he'd probably still be 20 meters behind me, but certainly a lot closer. And I was really surprised actually a couple of times I played with him where I went, wow, okay, that's good effort. But,
but now that you've got the
modern technology,
now that you've got the TSR3,
you'll
be back out to that
game.
50 meters in front. Yeah. Like for like equipment. That's good. Any other thoughts on your tournament prep, Andy Walker?
Look, I have, because I've got the Arcos software.
Yeah.
And I have had a bit of a look at the Arcos software. That was sort of one that I thought may have been helpful. Now, Arcos they've got a functionality called the Arcos Caddy, where when you've used the system enough, it starts making suggestions from your data and from your strokes gained. So I downloaded Camden and put it in the Arcos Caddy to see what it recommended, and far too conservative. It was recommending on some holes like 4-iron off the tee. And then there were just a couple of weird recommendations that I just looked at and went, yeah, no, I don't think so. Like there was another one where on a par 5, it was recommending that I hit my utility iron off the tee, and then I changed it to driver. But then rather than dry, and it was like 206 meters, I think, to the flag, and rather than taking my utility iron or fairway again, it was recommending that I lay up with a 7-iron and hit a 58 into the green. And I'm just like, yeah, no, that's definitely not the strategy that I would go with. So I don't feel as though the Arcos Caddy was as good as I was hoping it to be.
Yeah.
Which is why I sort of ditched it after, not that long, and went back to the Google Earth and the measurements on Google Earth just to design my own strategy.
So we love the good people at Arcos, we really do, but I feel like they've potentially had a little bit of a swing and a miss with the naming of this product. For mine, calling something a caddy would make me hope that maybe it's going to carry my clubs.
More so club recommendations.
Yeah.
Which quite interestingly, you talk about something that I can't use during the round. I wouldn't be able to use the Arcos Caddy.
No, you wouldn't.
During competition round.
But just to finish that thought, like what they've come up with is something that's just following you around, telling you what to do and giving you some bad information relating to golf. I don't know that caddy's the word I'd use.
Yeah. Look, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Arcos as a system. I love the information it gives me. What it's shown me about my game and the strengths and weaknesses of my game, and sort of confirmed certain things, but surprised me in other things. So, for instance, my distances with my irons, I'm pretty close with the distances with my irons. But driver, for instance, I actually hit it a bit longer than what I had anticipated that
Yeah, of course you do.
I would. So those sorts of things have been a bit of an eye opener. And as I said, I love the strokes gained. I love being able to go and look back and compare myself to a scratch handicapper. I love being able to track all that data, but yeah, I'm not convinced that the caddy side of it and the recommendations that they're giving me are going to be that helpful. Yeah,
and this is where I feel like Shot Scope has got one over Arcos.
Yeah, and you did mention that in our messaging, so I'd like to understand a little bit more about what Shot Scope offers.
So it does have an option to do the strategy. You can go you can load in a course, and it can actually use like the Arcos Caddy, and come up with suggestions of how to play holes. So there's that element. But the other thing that it does, which is manual, which I actually prefer, is you have a course preview setting, and you can load in any course, so whatever course you're going to play, and you get the the map from the Goodyear blimp up above it.
Yep.
And it's got, you go to all the holes, and it's got from tee to green the distance, and then say it's par 4 or par 5, you've got you've got the straight line from tee to green, and halfway along the line you've got the little dot in a circle, which is indicating where you would hit
your landing zone.
Yep, your tee shot to. And you can drag that up and down, move that around wherever you want to calculate the distance. So with the data that you collect over time, you know how far you hit your clubs. You can put that to that distance of where you would hit your average driver.
Yep.
And then see how much you would have left into the green. You can change that distance for whatever. But the other thing which is really, really useful of it is when you're looking down on holes where there is, say, a water hazard, or where there is a fairway bunker, or a narrowing of the fairway or something like that. You can move the little circle to those locations and get the exact distance to where those hazards are and where those bunkers are, and all those things. So that I find super helpful on planning out how you're going to play a course. It is something that I've used. I actually even used it on my home course just to kind of have as an intellectual exercise to go, if I was not going to use driver on a lot of the par 4s, and if I was going to use one of the other clubs, like what sort of distance would I have left into greens? And what advantages or disadvantages of that strategy would that apply? And it's quite interesting when you look at it, because it's a way of testing out playing different clubs off the tee without actually physically going out there and doing it, and just seeing what the advantages of it. But definitely useful for playing a course you haven't played before. Really, really good.
Interesting, because there is. I did try to do that with Arcos. And download the course and start a round, because you've got to start the round and then go and have a look at each hole. But it was just without, of course I wasn't there at the course, it was just a bit glitchy. And every time I try and put the circle in my landing zones, it would then sort of, reverse out of the screen and go back to all of my rounds.
Yeah.
And I just, it was a little bit glitchy. So I was over that pretty quickly because of my huge level of patience, and just went back to Google Earth.
In all honesty, like I'm happy to take some screenshots, like do one of the courses that you're going to play on ShotScope, and kind of use your driver distance, fairway distance, etc., and take some screenshots and send them through to you, and just to show you what that does, if that helps. I think it's amazing. It's a really, really cool feature. The only drawback sometimes is you don't know exactly where the tee box is going to be that you're playing off, so that can throw things out just a little bit. But it's often not by a lot, because not many suburban courses have got tee boxes that are that significantly different.
Yeah. Yeah, see, at least with Google Earth, you can put your starting point and your end point
Yeah.
in and get the exact distance.
You can
between those
move.
two
You can
points.
move the tee box on the ShotScope one as well, but
All right,
it's just knowing where it's going to be is the thing. If you know, it's fine, but if you don't know, then you don't know. So anyway, it's good prep. What about mental approach? Because we've talked a lot about your 2 under par.
Yep.
Sorry, I got that wrong. You've talked a lot about your 2 under par. Not so much we.
Yeah.
What you haven't talked so much about was the performance at the Macquarie Cup last major tournament where, let's be honest, Andy Walker, you battled.
Yeah, I did. However, I feel as though that I've made some pretty significant gains since then. It'll be interesting to see how it goes because, my good rounds have been at my home club and granted, you can say, oh yeah, if you don't take your away game, you're never going to do any good in tournaments. But I think if you look back to the Missing Links Masters, I did bring a pretty good game to Mudgee. I have played enough golf now at different golf courses to be pretty confident that I can deal with, different golf courses and different conditions. So one event, I'm not going to let that ruin myself mentally.
That's good. As the very wise philosopher Mike Tyson once said, we talked about this in the Macquarie Cup. Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
How are you going to handle adversity should it show its head?
Look, I think it's just the same as the strategy that I've employed over the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Firstly, acceptance, move on, realize once you hit a shot, you can't do anything about it. You've got to go find it and hit it again. The old Dustin Johnson approach to golf.
Love DJ.
Love DJ. And yeah, just be focused over every shot. Use my process. Use the strategies from Mental Golf Type. I've had had the opportunity now to do some work with Michael Leonard. He's got some great information that I can implement into my mental approach. So yeah, I think just that, what I've been doing and the, picking little bits from different strategies from different people. I think I'm in a much better and certainly a different place to what I was 6 weeks ago in the Macquarie Cup. And the big thing, the huge thing as well is the new driver, fairway and utility iron. I mean, I think that's
confidence level there is high.
That's made a huge difference.
Yep. Now, just I'm trying to help you prepare here, okay? So
of course you are.
So it's all coming from a good place. So the thing with this, right, like you're playing in these tournaments in an attempt to qualify for the New South Wales Senior Open.
Correct.
And you've got to get, what is it, top 4?
Top 2.
Top 2.
Yeah. So it's a stretch. I mean, I don't, it's certainly not something that I see as a given. In fact, the probabilities are probably, quite low, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to shy away from it. So it's going.
I wouldn't expect that you would.
Yeah, it's going in with not having the expectation, but with the anticipation that there is the opportunity.
So that's good. All right, and that's setting expectations, which will help keep you even keeled and calm if you're coming 25th or 30th. Because this essentially this attempting to qualify, this is very much external outcome based goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is what makes it hard in tournaments.
Yeah.
So where I think, and this is something to think through, particularly thinking through the breakthrough that you had with your 2 under round. Now you've even got me talking about it, as opposed to the 2 attempts before it, which was under par and couldn't close the deal, is say you come into, the 15th, 16th hole and you are aware, I don't know if there's leaderboards around or whatever the case may be.
No, there won't be.
But you probably got a pretty good gist. Like, say you're at that point, you're 2 or 3 under and you go, I'm a chance here.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that as opposed to, say dealing with the disappointment element of it? I think that's pretty easy. But it's the reality then, because that's taking that, coming back to focus on process so that you don't get ahead of yourself, staying in the moment, head where your feet are, etc. That's taking that to the next level under immense pressure when you've got the possibility of actually succeeding.
Yeah, look, and I think I go back to one of the things that Neil Smith said, and that is, you play 14, 15, 16 holes a certain way to get yourself to, whether it be even 1 under, 2 under, 3 under, whatever your score is, you're having a good round. You've had your strategy to get you there. Why would you change it? And that's something for me that, was a bit of a aha moment that I'd never really given much thought to before. So that's something that I've been working really hard on. Doesn't mean I've always succeeded, and probably won't always succeed in the future, but it's something at least now I'm aware of that I can work on, and that I can have top of mind is, if I get to that point where I'm a couple under or whatever the score is, that I knuckle down and continue to play that, swing aggressively to conservative targets. And that for me, that whole mindset has been a massive shift, and doing that right until the end, right until the last putt drops in the hole on 18.
Well, Andy Walker, we wish you all the best. And I think it's only right and proper that at the end of that tournament that the great man Dave McClellan comes back on the show and we hear about it from both of you.
Well, I might see if we can have a little bit of audio.
Oh, that would be nice.
Before and after.
That would be nice.
A la the Macquarie Cup.
Yeah.
Just seeing what his thoughts are beforehand, and a little bit of feedback afterwards, because in our messages when I let him know that I was putting my entry into the Camden Seniors, he did say, "Oh, we might be able to get a game together. I think I know someone."
Excellent.
So I'm sort of half expecting to be able to be in the same group as David McCollins, which will be a really good first event, I think, to have a great mate and mentor of mine in that group. So I think it's going to be good.
That would be fantastic. Can't wait to hear all about it. Any other thoughts that you've got, Andy Walker, on tournament prep?
No, I think that's pretty much it at this point in time. I think that it's still a big learning curve at the moment, and while I've got a lot of experience, historical experience, it's a different setup now. It's it's quite literally a different ball game than what it was back then, and I have a completely different approach. So a lot of it is a steep learning curve, but I feel as though I've got a good grounding to be able to launch into a successful senior career.
What I really liked about that is at no point did you say back when I was playing seriously.
Yes, I've tried to eliminate that from my vernacular after your feedback. Was it last week you gave me that feedback? So
it was recently, last couple of weeks.
Yes, because I am serious.
Yeah, that's right. You are now playing seriously. Yep. Fantastic. Andy Walker, best of luck. We thoroughly look forward to hearing about all of your adventures around Camden in, probably a couple of episodes' time. But we've got a few exciting things coming up in the next few episodes. We do. Are we in a position to talk about this at all, or are we still under the veil of secrecy?
Oh no, I think that certainly there's next week's episode we've got booked in, and we've got that scheduled. So that's a conversation with the Titleist club fitter,
Bring
Jason Butt,
it on.
who's coming in to have a chat about all things club fitting. Really looking forward to that episode because
Yes.
I had such a great experience with Jason, and his level of knowledge is just
That's awesome.
unbelievable. Like it's out of this world. And not only that, not only the knowledge, it's the data that you get from TrackMan and being able to put all the pieces together
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
and then come up with a solution and go, here you go, try that. And you know, he didn't really give me a bad option.
Mm.
They were all good options. It's just what was the best option.
Mm.
So he didn't
That's
give
awesome.
me a club and shaft combination and go, oh yeah, just have a hit of this. And I'd hit it and go, nah, that's not very good. It was all like, yeah, that's pretty good. But I think I'd prefer the previous one. Or yeah, this is pretty good, but can we just tweak it this way?
Mm.
So then we'd tweak it this way and we'd get a better result. So there was a lot of those sorts of things which I was really, really impressed with and just had a ball. In fact, I'm really looking forward to taking it sort of the next step, and whether it be later this year or whenever that may be, and doing the same thing with my irons, because that'll be the next step up from the AP2s, which I have now, to perhaps I reckon the T150s is my next set of
Probably
irons.
the go. Yeah. No, that's very cool. We can certainly nerd out on that one.
Yeah.
That will be a huge amount of fun. I can't wait to hear all about it. I'm really, really interested to hear what he's got to say about putter fittings, about wedge fittings, and also about ball fittings. So is a space I'm quite interested in as well. But I think for all the pilgrims out there that have been umming and ahhing about whether or not there are benefits for a club fitting, or even just wondering about what happens during a club fitting, because if you haven't gone and done it, you really don't know what it's all about. It's a hell of a lot more than just measuring the distance from your wrist to the ground. There's
100%.
There's a lot more in it, and it is honestly, it's one of the most fun things that you can do. It's really, really cool. And following that, we've got some other exciting guests, but we might save those bombshells for a future episode before we give all of our secrets away. But there's some cool stuff coming up.
But let's just say that might be a very fast episode.
Oh, I like it.
But
That's good.
Not in timing. It'll still be the same length of show.
Who knows?
But
who knows? Who knows?
It might be fast.
Careful, Andy Walker.
But that's something we haven't quite booked in as yet. We're very,
close.
Very close.
We're close.
Yeah, if that comes off, I'm going to be pumped for that interview.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And more to come. There's a lot more to come. We've got to hear all about Andy Walker's fantastic exploits at the Camden Senior Open. I'm calling it an open. I don't know if it is, but let's call it that. And maybe get Dave McClellan back on the show. It depends on how the day goes, I suppose.
Yes. Oh, look, it'll be fun. One way or the other. The golf may not necessarily be the best, but it'll be a great day and a good first foray into the world of senior golf.
Oh, it's so good. It's what the show's about. 30 episodes
Absolutely.
in, finally getting closer to it.
The first event, dipping our toe in the water.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I can't believe I sent this text message to Andy Walker, Pilgrims. I can't believe it. I said, I'm so jealous. I can't wait to just hurry up and turn 50.
I got a good laugh out of that. Yeah, got a good laugh out of that. It's not far away.
No. I feel like the younger sibling, like when your older brother's going off to school and you're like, I want to come too. And anyway, not allowed to. Too young, can't qualify next year. So anyway, Andy Walker, do us proud. Wear your Missing Links Golf Show hat with pride. Plenty of photos. Looking forward to some Facebook reels and all that sort of stuff. Speaking of which, Pilgrims, we mentioned it before, but get on there and contact us. Let us know what's going on. If you haven't done so already, click the follow button, the auto download button. And what we would really, really appreciate is doing a bit of a review. If you're on iTunes, if you're on Spotify or your podcasting platform of choice, throw a review on there. It really does help get the message out to more people. And if you've got mates that are into golf that like listening to two roundabout 50-year-old blokes blare on about their own game, share the show. That's all I've got to say, Andy Walker. You got anything else that you want to cover? Any other messages for the Pilgrims?
There's only one thing left to do, Mr. Hinks, and what is
that?
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Aye, aye.